If you're trying to build wealth in real estate with only a few hours a week, the biggest mistake you can make is by copying a full time investor strategy. That's how people get buried in half finished projects, bad decisions, and guilt. Real estate's not about doing the most, it's about picking the right strategy for the time that you actually have and then executing it without drama. Hey, before we get into it, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss practical real estate training built for serious investors. If you're new to the channel, my name is Bud Evans. I spent 35 years in the United States Air Force, 13 years as a police officer, and also am the former mayor of Cinnaminns in New Jersey. Today, I'm an active real estate investor focusing on single family and small multifamily properties. I mentor veterans in real estate, and I founded a low-cost, investor-focused property management company. Hey, here is the lie that hurts a lot of good people who are getting into this field. They think that they are failing in real estate because they're not disciplined enough, aggressive enough, or not smart enough. But that's usually not the real problem here. The real problem is that they're trying to force a full-time investing strategy into a part-time life. See, they're already working a W-2 job. They have spouses, they have kids, they have parents, they have health issues, they have travel responsibilities, and a life outside of real estate. Then they get online and they see somebody talking about BRRRRs and flips and direct-to-seller marketing and creative financing and Airbnb arbitrage and wholesaling and all this fast-moving stuff. And they think that that's what serious investors are supposed to do. So what they try to do is run that playbook on 5 hours a week. But that's where the trouble really starts. So they buy a project and it needs too much work. So they start calling contractors, but they don't have time to manage. They start chasing financing terms that they don't really understand. They try to market for off-market deals, answer lead negotiations, do inspections, coordinate rehab, and still show up for the regular jobs and the regular life. But guys, that's not a strategy. That is overload, and you are going to burn out. And when the wheels come off, they're going to blame themselves. They say stuff like, I should have pushed harder, or I should have wanted it more, or I should have hustled more. No, that's the wrong diagnosis. If your strategy is going to require 20 hours a week and you only have 5, the issue isn't motivation. The issue is a time mismatch. That mismatch is going to create 3 predictable problems. First, you're going to get overwhelmed. You'll never feel caught up. Every deal is going to feel heavier than the last one. Every task is going to feel urgent. And real estate starts bleeding into your evenings, your weekends, and into your headspace. And then you start losing sleep. Second, you will get paralysis by analysis because you don't have enough time to clearly execute. And every decision starts feeling bigger. So you second guess the market. You second guess the rehab. You second guess the tenant profile. You second guess the lender. And then deals are going to pass you by while you sit there pretending, but you're still doing research. Third, poor execution. This is the one that is really going to cost you the most money. You miss contractor details, you underwrite too fast, or you rely on someone else to do the underwriting for you. You don't manage timelines tightly. You make emotional choices because you're just tired. And tired investors make decisions that are really expensive. And see, that's the conflict. The investor thinks the answer is more intensity. The truth is the answer is more alignment. And guys, I've made that mistake, so you're not alone. The turning point is going to come when you stop asking what strategy is popular right now and start asking one better question. How many hours a week can I realistically commit to real estate during this part of my life? Not fantasy hours, not motivational speaker hours, but real committed time. That means if you have 45 minutes during a lunch break, a couple days a week, and maybe 2 hours on a Saturday, then that's your number. And once you know what your real number is, your strategy should become a lot clearer. I want to break this down for you in simple terms so you don't make the mistakes I made when I first started out. There are really 4 categories here. Less than 5 hours a week, about 5 hours a week, about 10 hours a week, and about 20 hours a week. You guys, we're talking about people who have a W-2 job right now. Look, if you're under 5 hours, you may not be in an active investing season right now, and that's fine. You can still save some cash, study your markets, improve your credit, build your reserves, and invest passively. That's not quitting. That's recognition of reality. If you are around 5 hours a week, that's where a lot of working professionals live. Veterans, first responders, people with jobs and real obligations. This is probably the most common category that I see as a mentor. If you're around 10 hours, you have a lot more flexibility. You may be able to handle some added complexity, but you still need guardrails. If you're around 20 hours, now you can start acting more like an active operator. You can take on bigger projects, become more realistic, because you actually have the bandwidth to manage the bigger projects. But this video is really for the 5-hour investor because that person gets ignored or they pay for some really bad advice. So let me say this clearly. There is only the right strategy for your available time, energy, and tolerance for the operational complexity. And that's it. Think of it like lanes on a highway. The left lane, you might get there sooner, but it requires more focus, more corrections, and more risk and more stress. The right lane still gets you to the destination. You just have to stay in your lane and just keep pushing on. The 5-hour investor is going to get in trouble when they keep drifting into strategies built for somebody else with a bigger time budget. So let's start with what not to do first. A major fixer-upper, like a to the studs renovation, guys, it's going to be a bad fit for the 5-hour investor. That includes a full BRRRR model in most cases. Now, I am not saying that any BRRRR is bad for you. I have used forced appreciation. I understand the appeal. Buy below value, rehab it, rent it, refinance it, recycle the capital. On paper, it looks great, but on paper is where a lot of people are going to stay at the 5-hour level. In real life, BRRRR is coordination heavy. You're going to be dealing with acquisition. You're going to be dealing with the scope of work, contractor management, draw schedules, change orders, delays, leasing, refi timing, lender requirements, and trying to put together cash reserves. Guys, it's not passive. That's the active part of rental property investing. That is project command. If you only have 5 hours a week, one bad contractor or one surprise rehab issue is going to eat up all of your bandwidth. And now you've stopped building wealth. You are now managing chaos. Flips have the same problem. That's not a side hustle. That is a business. It is a compressed timeline with real money at risk and a sales exit hanging over the whole thing. So if the rehab drifts or the market softens, you're going to pay for it. Wholesaling is another one that people misunderstand because you have too many gurus out there telling you it's easy. They hear fast cash and low money into the deal, but what they miss is the reality that marketing and negotiation business costs a lot of time. Consistent wholesaling usually means outbound effort for inbound leads, follow-ups, seller conversations, pricing discipline, buyer relationships, and a pipeline that has to be fed over and over and over again. And that takes time, not hope. Hope is not a strategy. We're talking about, no kidding, real time. Higher touch rentals can also become a trap. So yeah, short-term rentals, we're talking about you. If you rent by the room, if you do co-living, midterm rentals, can they work? Absolutely. Can they produce solid income? Yes. Can they eat your schedule alive if you're not set up right? Yeah, absolutely. Your turnover is going to be higher. Communication needs to be higher. Operational friction is higher. Coordination with cleaners and contractors. Look, if your life is already busy, you're buying yourself another job and you're trying to call it passive income. Here's the comeback. What should a 5-hour investor actually do? 3 things are usually going to make the most sense here. House hacking is number 1. Buying boring rentals, just buy and hold, and leverage help. Let's start with the house hacking. This is still one of the best ways for a part-time investor to get into the game. Now, at close to 60 years old, my wife does not want to live in one unit and rent out the others, but maybe you do. So you could also live in the house and rent out the bedrooms, or use an ADU if it makes sense, or buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex if the numbers and the financing work for you. And this is so strong. Why? Because it reduces the complexity. You're already living there. You know the property. You know the neighborhood. You learn landlording in real life instead of theory. You're going to lower your own housing costs while you're building experience and equity. I say it all the time. I could accidentally get a veteran to 12 units in 3 years. It's not sexy. It is effective. Let's talk about boring rentals, which is second. And I mean that as a compliment. A boring rental is a property in a decent area with stable demand that is either turnkey or only needs light rehab. Not a disaster, not a great bones special, not a contractor's science project. You're a 5-hour investor. You need stability. You need an understandable asset. And what that usually means is it's got to have a good area. It's got to be a simple layout. There's got to be strong rental demand for the area with predictable maintenance, long-term fixed debt, and enough cash reserves so you don't get shocked. And a good down payment will reduce your risk. A lot of newer investors get addicted to chasing the deepest discount. But a deep discount sometimes comes attached to deeper problems. Sometimes the better move is to just pay a little bit more for a cleaner property that doesn't hijack your life or your time. Third, leverage other people. This is where part-time investors really win. Use agents who understand investment properties. Build relationships with lenders who can explain to you the terms clearly. Yes, use inspectors. Use property managers when the numbers support it. Use professionals for the work that's not going to require your unique judgment. Your limited time should go more to decision making, underwriting, buying right, and reviewing the overall performance, not chasing maintenance calls at the wrong time, not playing contractor or referee every night, not trying to be the leasing agent, the bookkeeper, the rehab manager, and the investor all at once. That's not going to work with this limited amount of time. And that is amateur behavior. Hey, look, before I keep going, if you are a veteran and you want to be around other serious investors and operators who are building wealth the right way, check out the War Room with David BRRRR. That is the primary place that I would point veterans who want real community and real accountability in real estate investing. If you need more direct help on your specific situation and you're not a veteran, there is also a one-off coaching opportunity through me at budevans.com when it makes sense. But look, let's go deeper on this because this is where people either build something sustainable or they don't. A 5-hour investor has some serious disadvantages, but also some real advantages. The disadvantage, it's obvious. It's time, right? You do not have unlimited time to clean up the bad choices. That means your margin of error and operational stupidity is minuscule. It's a lot smaller. But here are the real advantages. Don't overlook these. You will often have steady income. You have a W-2. You can usually save better than a full-time investor living deal to deal. You can often qualify for better conventional financing, and you can make a larger down payment. You can think longer term. And if you're disciplined enough, you don't need every property to perform like a home run. Bunting works. And that matters because long-term wealth, it's usually not built by excitement. It's built by patience in ownership. The 5-hour investor should think like this. I don't need 10 deals a year. I need one good deal that I can actually handle. That mindset is going to save you a lot of pain. And if you can do that 4 times in a year, you're going to do a lot better. And here is the real world example. Let's say an investor A buys a heavily distressed property because the discount looks great. Rehab goes over budget. Contractor disappears twice. Refi stalls because the final product is not where it needs to be. You've just spent 6 months stressed, distracted, and under a bunch of pressure. Investor B buys a clean duplex in a decent area, lives in one side, rents out the other, uses conventional financing, keeps a reserve, and self-manages only because they're on site. There's going to be less drama, less velocity, less volatility, and a lot better control. Which one is more likely to still be investing in 3 years? Obviously, investor B, because survival matters here. In this business, a boring, repeatable business model is going to beat an exciting, unstable model every single time. Now, here's another mistake I see. People confuse complexity with sophistication. Why? They think that if the plan is more complicated, it's got to be smarter. That makes no sense to me. A simple plan executed cleanly is better than a complex plan executed horribly, especially when your time is tight. What does a strong 5-hour investor system actually look like? Well, it looks like this. You pick one buy box, one market, or a sub-market that you really understand. Become a subject matter expert. Find one property type that you really understand, one financing lane that you really understand, one acquisition standard, one capital reserve standard, and one management plan. Reduce the moving parts. You're going to create a repeatable filter. Maybe that filter is this. I only buy in stable, working class neighborhoods with proven rent demand. I avoid full gut rehabs. I want fixed debt. I want at least this much cash reserve after closing. I like at least 2 to 3 months. I want a property that can be managed without constant intervention. Make sure your capital expenses are taken care of as you buy the property before you actually rent it out. You want a tenant profile that's stable and not chaotic. You want a purchase that still works if expenses come in higher than you hoped. And that is how a serious person operates. Not with hype, not with filters, not with catchphrases or jargon. So let's address the mindset. Way too many times I see scarcity or people who think they need cash. But being a 5-hour investor is not a permanent identity. It's a season of your life. You may be at 5 hours now and then maybe 10 hours next year or the year after. You may build one rental, then three, then five. You might eventually have the experience, capital, and support to take on a lot more active projects. That's fine, but earn the next level. You don't pretend that you're already there. A lot of damage in real estate comes from buying for the investor you want to be instead of buying the investor that you are right now. Buy for your current capabilities and capacities. Then scale, automate, and grow from there. That is the disciplined move. If you want to apply this immediately, do a simple audit. Look at the next 30 days. If you're scheduling your calendar, then how many hours do you really have? Not once, every week, on average. Then ask yourself, what strategy fits that number? What strategy clearly does not fit that number? Can you outsource? What kind of property gives you the least operational drag? What's the smallest repeatable plan that you can actually execute this year? That's how you turn guilt into clarity. And clarity is what really creates action. Because the goal here is to not look busy. The goal here is to build wealth without wrecking your life in the process. If you're still a 5-hour investor, you don't need permission to be small. You need the discipline to be simple. And that is how you stay in the game for the long run. That's how you're going to keep your capital intact. That's how you're going to build something that's not only easy, but durable. And over time, durability wins. So as always, here is your checklist. Audit your real weekly hours, not a fantasy schedule. And the difference between dreams and fantasies is if you act on your dreams, you can achieve them. Fantasy, you can't. Match your strategy with your actual bandwidth. Avoid major fixer-uppers if you can't manage the rehab complexity. Avoid flips and wholesaling if you don't have the time or the bandwidth or the operational intensity. Be careful with short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, or other high-touch rentals unless you have strong systems that are already in place. Prioritize house hacking when it fits your lifestyle and your market. Prioritize boring rentals in stable areas over the dramatic discount play. Use fixed long-term financing whenever that's possible. Keep stronger reserves than you think you need. And then let the professionals handle tasks that you don't have the time for and don't require your personal judgment. Build one clear buy box and then stay disciplined. Focus on one good deal that you can manage, not multiple deals that are going to manage you. And remember that the 5 hours, it's only a season. It's not a sentence. Hey, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. If you have some friends, share it with them. Thanks for watching. I'm Bud Evans. Aim high, execute fast. See you on the next one.